Obeisances to all the assembled devotees on the call. Thank you so much. The introduction actually made me responsible more. I was wondering, I was asking Mataji, Prem Priya Padma Mataji, do we really need to read introduction again? So that time Mataji said like, oh, it's been a long time you're on the call, so it will be nice. But now I feel like it reminds me again of my responsibilities and my nishtha towards Guru and Krishna. Thank you. We'll start with Mangalacharan prayers and we will continue into from 3.17 to 24. We will be reading today and discussing and trying to see deeper what Krishna is speaking to us. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Nena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavaamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhamritascha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhu Bhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances once again to all the devotees on the call. Before I forget, it was awesome, Gaura. I was wondering, Prahlad Maharaj, nobody might have addressed Prahlad Maharaj, so sweeter, like how you were singing. Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj. May Lord Krishna shower his causeless mercy on you and make you progress in devotion and make your parents happy. So 3.17, so third chapter, Karma Yoga. So from 3.17, Krishna touches how people following Gnana Yoga behave. Or he also mentions here that even if you are a Gnani who has all the knowledge, but I still prefer you to perform Karma Yoga so that you can set an example to everyone. Because Etyat Acharati Sreshta, that sloka also is going to come. So we'll try to go into the verses without any delay because we have a lot of verses to cover. So I just don't want to go beyond the time and lose your attention. 3.17. Yastva atmaratir eva syad atmatruptascha manavaha atmanyeva cha santusta tasya karyam na vidyate. So before this, Mataji, does anybody share screen and read verses or purports, or how is that? How do you all generally follow?
Madhuri, is depend on the speaker. Sometimes
okay.
speaker wants, sometimes not. So whatever you said.
Okay. I mean, I'm okay if any devotee wants to share and read the purports. I will be happy. No problem. Yeah.
Ritu Mataji, Radha Govinda Mataji, Vanandi Mataji, what you said?
That's right. We can read the translation the way we have been reading in other sessions.
Okay, I don't know how you are reading in the other sessions, Mataji. Please
Oh, I'm
forgive
sorry.
me.
So, yeah, we were reading the translation only.
Oh, you are reading the translation only, not the purports?
No.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, then I will read the translation. Okay. Yastvatmaratireva syad atmatruptyascha manavaha atmanyeva cha santustas tasya karyam na vidyate. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satisfied, for him there is no duty. So Krishna is saying this, who has no duty to perform. The person who has these qualifications has no duty to perform. So if you all notice the Sanskrit verse, there is Atma, Atma, Atma. Atma has referred 3 times. Yastva Atma Ratir, who enjoys, who takes joy in Atma. Here, Krishna is talking about that person whose senses have turned inwards, looking inside. So for all of us, our senses are looking outside. So our senses, as soon as they see the sense object, they try to make a contact and they bring from our mind a memory of we engaging ourselves in those sense objects and remind us of that sense gratification. Then our senses go beyond, behind those sense objects. Sense objects does not come and attract us. Our mind, after getting the signal from the senses, and we as an Atma, we are superior than mind and intelligence, or when we are under the control of the senses, wherever our senses lead, we go. So our senses are looking externally. But a person, for a person who is self-realized, his senses will look inwards. That means he is present in this world among us, but he is not conscious or aware of the surroundings. We all may be wondering, how can that happen? But this we all can have an example to relate how this happens. Generally, sometimes if something is going on in our mind, let's say we have a disturbance, we have something that is bothering us, or something which we are very fond of that is going to happen to us, which is waiting at home, and we are all in temple, and when a lecture is going on, lecture will be going on, kirtan will be going on, but we will be in our own world. Somebody has to come and push us and say like, oh Mataji, I've been calling you, you are not responding. That means we are present there, but our senses are not outside. They are not looking external. They were in the thought that our mind has occupied. So there are those kind of experiences where we are lost. We are among the crowd. We are, everything is happening. It's not like the atmosphere, the circumstances are silent, but we are lost. Our senses are not responding, or not reacting, or not gathering the signals from the things that are happening. So it happens. For us, it happens because many of the devotees might have experienced it spiritually also. But most of the times for the materially oriented people, when some trouble is bothering us, or something that is very interesting is going to come and we are not there where that interesting thing is happening and we are somewhere else, we feel these kind of experiences. So here, a person for who takes pleasure, rati, who atmarati, who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, atma truptas. He's satisfied inwards. He is not dependent on anything external for happiness or satisfaction. He is satisfied inwards. And then who is satisfied in the self only. Atmatruptascha manavaha, manavaha, that person who is Atmaratir, takes pleasure in Atma. Atmatruptis, whose life is centered around self-realizing, realizing that he is Atma, he is spirit soul, he is not body. And Atmanyevacha santushtaha, he is satisfied, happy in the self. Atmanyevacha santasya karyam na vidyate. For that person, for such person, there is no duty. Not for those of us who are seeking material things, material pleasures, and who are behind the material objects. We say that, there is no duty for me. I am now self-realized. No. This person has nothing to do with anything external and everything internal. He is not dependent on anything external for pleasure, for realization, or for happiness, satisfaction. Everything is inwards. He does not need anything material. So when he does not need anything material, he is not obligated to anybody. He is not obligated to the fellow living entities. The horizontal dependence is not there. He is not obligated to the Devi Devatas also, because he is not needing anything material. So his connection with anything material cuts off. Because he don't have any connection with the material things, he don't have any obligations also. So he does not have to perform any prescribed duties. For such person who is Atmaratir, Atmatruptas, Atmatantustaha, not dependent on anything external. This is a spiritual happiness. Material happiness is dependent on the sense objects. Material object happiness is not permanent. It will be there for some time and it will go away. Most of the times, what we desire, we don't get. And after getting, we don't feel the same happiness that we are anticipating by getting that. And so that disappoints us. And after getting that happiness also, it won't stay for a longer time. This is the material happiness nature. But here Krishna is talking about the spiritual happiness this person is going to achieve, which has nothing to do with external things. So he's not dependent. He is not saying that I need a house, I need my own blanket, I need my own house, my own bed, my own car for me to be happy. Otherwise, I'm irritated, I'm frustrated. No, he's inside. He's looking, everything is deriving from inside. That kind of a person is not obligated to anything. So that is what Krishna is saying. Prabhupada actually wonderfully translates this, and he says in the purport, a person who is fully Krishna consciousness and is fully satisfied by his acts in Krishna consciousness no longer has any duty to perform. For his being Krishna consciousness, all impiety within instantly cleansed, an effect of many thousands of yajna performance. By such clearing of consciousness, one becomes fully confident of his eternal position in relationship with Supreme. So this kind of a situation, a Gnana Yogi also attains, where his senses look inwards, because he knows that anything he depends on external and anything that is depending on external things and deriving pleasure is going to bind him. So because he has that knowledge, he derives, because of the Gnana, he turns inwards his senses. Krishna Prabhupada always in his purports brings the gist of Bhagavad Gita. That is how a Krishna consciousness person who depends on Krishna and whose activities are around Krishna, who keeps Krishna in the center, he also has no obligations because he is watering the root. So, and when he is watering the root, all the everything else gets nourished. In the same way, when he is Krishna consciousness all the time, every karma, every act he's doing for the pleasure of the Lord, then automatically all the Devi Devatas, everyone else will be happy, because Krishna is present in everybody else, in everybody, in every living entity, and every living entity also will get pleased by this person who is pleasing Krishna. So Prabhupada say that his duty thus becomes self-illuminated by the grace of the Lord, and therefore he no longer has any obligations. Such a Krishna conscious person is no longer interested in material activities, no longer takes pleasures in material arrangements like wine, women, and similar infatuations. So these things did not derive any happiness for this person. So he's not going to complain that, oh, I don't have wine, I don't have my own things, my material objects for me to be happy. So he doesn't say that. So for this kind of a person, there is no duty. 18. Naiva tasya krute nardho na krute neha kaschana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschid artha vyapashrayah. Naiva tasya krute nardho na krute neha kaschana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschid artha vyapashrayah. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Na, never, eva, certainly, tasya, his, krutena, by discharge of duty, arthaha, purpose, na, nar, akrutena, without discharge of duty, iha, in this world, kaschana, whatever, na, never, cha, and asya, of him, sarva bhutishu, among all living beings, kaschit, any, artha, purpose, vyapashraya, taking shelter of. A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being. So Krishna just said 1 minute before in the 17th verse, a self-realized person, a person who realizes that he is Atma, is not body, and who is deriving everything from inside, has no duty to perform. Krishna just flips that argument in 3.18. He says, Naiva tasya krute nartho. Krute means like discharging the duties, showing gratitude to the Devi Devatas who are helping us to live in this material world. Because of their mercy, there are so many things which are happening like without much notice or without much endeavor from our side. So if we all read Bhagavatam, we know that even opening of our eyelids are done with the help of Devi Devatas. Food is digested with the help of Lord by Jataragni. There are so many things which Devi Devatas help us, which we don't even notice. So we have to show our gratitude to them, which Krishna has already mentioned in the previous verses. How we should be grateful. Naiva tasya krutenardo. So he does not have any duty to perform or fulfill. Na krutenaha kaschana, akrutenaha. At the same time, this person has no reason not to do any duty. So if somebody says that the people, like let's say you ask them, okay, come to this place. No, I don't know anybody there. They are not going to impact me in any way. So if the persons if there is no impact of the persons that he's going to associate, if there is no impact, then going or not going should not impact him. If those people, let's say you say like you call a friend saying, I'm going to friend B's house, can you come with me? If you say that, no, it doesn't really, she doesn't really impact me in any way, then going or not going also should not impact us. So in the same way, this person has no obligation towards anybody in this material world. He has no obligation of fulfilling the prescribed duty because he is self-realized. He is situated at Atma, spirit level, but at the same time, he has no reason not to perform also, because when this is not going to, when he says that this is not going to bound me, I have transcended this. This situation is not going to bind me. It is not going to affect me. So there is no point in refraining that. If that is not going to affect us, there is no point in refraining. Doing or not doing is equal. So for this person who is self-realized, for this person who is always looking and seeing the things at the spiritual level, at the spirit level, doing these material prescribed duties or not doing these prescribed duties is same. So there is no reason for him to not do. So naiva tasya krutenartho na kruteneha kaschana na chasya sarva bhutesu kaschid artha vyapashrayah. So Krishna is saying this person is not dependent on anybody. Nachasya sarva bhuteshu. He is not dependent on anybody. Kaschid artha vyapashrayah. It's not dependent on any other living body. So Krishna is talking here, Sarva Bhuteshu. So when Krishna is saying here, Sarva Bhuteshu, he is not talking about himself. So this person is not dependent on any other living entities. It's not that he is also not dependent on Krishna. It is only the Sarva Bhuteshu Vyapashrayah. He is not taking shelter of anything material. Neither the people, nor his wealth, nor his fame, nor his bank balance, nothing. So he's not taking shelter of anything horizontally. Nachasya sarva bhuteshu. Na, cha, and asya. So sarva bhuteshu does not include Krishna here. Krishna is only talking about the interaction among the living entities. Krishna is not talking about the interaction with him. So here he says that a self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being. Again, if we see Prabhupada's purport, Prabhupada concludes this wonderfully in this. He says, like, Krishna is talking about renunciation here, because this person does not require anything materially. They know that if they make any connection with anybody materially, even with the living entities or the objects, that attachment is going to bind them. And when they leave the body, they are going to take birth again to either enjoy that or to associate with the people. So Jnanis also, those who read the scriptures, those who do analytical study, they also purposefully practice detachment. They detach themselves with the outside world. They either go to forest or they try to live isolated, and they don't do anything to others. So they don't seek anything from others, so they are not obligated to do anything to others. Like, they don't go to anybody's house and they don't invite anybody to their house. It's like no obligations either way. Like, when we seek help, then we will be obligated to do help also. So these persons think that any interactions with the people or living entities or the objects or association is going to bind me. I am a spiritual being. I should not be bound anything to the material. So they try to isolate them. So that is one way of achieving this, that they are not dependent on any living entities. So they don't have any obligation towards anybody. The other way is Krishna consciousness person. A Krishna consciousness person does not take shelter of anybody because he takes shelter of Krishna. He tries to please Krishna and he tries to take shelter of Krishna. There is a saying, right? Like, if Krishna wants to protect us, there is nobody in this entire world who can cause any harm to us. If Krishna does not want to protect us, there is nobody in this entire world who can protect us. So he clearly understands his relationship with Krishna, and he also knows the magnanimity of Krishna, the position of Krishna as a supreme being. So he only takes shelter of one person. So those of us who don't take shelter of Krishna has to take shelter of so many other things. Those of us who don't take shelter of Guru and Krishna, we have to take shelter of so many other things. Right from the beginning, like, like the house helpers, husband, wife, managers, people, friends and family who help us, everybody. And then we get stressed out. We are full of anxieties, like, oh, if I don't behave in a way pleasing to them, maybe they may not come to help me. So let me please them. Let me change myself to please them. So we try going around pleasing everybody else except Krishna. And at the end of the day, we are not happy too. So a Krishna conscious, Srila Prabhupada talks about bhakti here. And he says, a self-realized man is no longer obligated to perform any prescribed duty, save and accept activities in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not inactivity either, as will be explained in the following persons. Whatever he does in Krishna consciousness is sufficient in the discharge of his obligation. If we are fully Krishna consciousness, and if we are acting and pleasing Guru and Krishna, that is enough. We are not we don't need to worry that, oh, I did not fulfill this obligation, I did not know this. But we have to be sincere towards Krishna consciousness. We should not be saying that I am a Krishna conscious person, I don't have any obligation to escape from our duties. We have to be making that connection very strong with Krishna, positive connection with Krishna. Then automatically all the other obligations will be satisfied. We don't need to please everybody. We just need to act in a way that we please Guru and Krishna. So Krishna says here that naivatasya krutenartho kruteneha kaschana nachasya sarvabhuteshu kaschid artha vyapashraya. Those who don't take shelter of Krishna will take shelter of everything else in material. Those of us who have strong faith and take shelter of Guru and Krishna and chanting of the holy names of the Lord, we don't need to worry. We don't need to have any fear, because Krishna will take care of everything. 3.19. So 3.19 will go to 3.19. And then we will discuss a couple more points in relation to 3.18 also. Tasmad asaktaha satatam karyam karma samachara. Asakto hai acharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. For by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. Tasmad, therefore. So Krishna is a continuation of 18th verse, he says. So we all learned from the previous verse that we all have to elevate ourselves from seeking the material shelters to spiritual shelter. That is actually the progression in our bhakti. Bhagavad Gita is not, if somebody says that I know Bhagavad Gita, it is not just the qualification of knowing Bhagavad Gita is not either reciting every sloka end to end with meanings, or speaking about that, explaining that. It is about living that. It is about implementing those in our lives and transforming our lives. That's when we really can say proudly that Bhagavad Gita, I know Bhagavad Gita, because we take shelter of Bhagavad Gita. So we learned in previous verse that how we have to elevate ourselves and seek spiritual shelter rather than taking multiple material shelters. Now, in that relation to that, Krishna is saying, Tasma, therefore, for a detached person, for a person who is not seeking anything from anybody, he is detached. He has no attachment with anybody. There is no duty. Asaktaha satadam. Like how a detached person, like how a person who doesn't go to anybody, who doesn't seek any help, and he also does not do anything to others, has nothing to do. In the similar way, asaktaha satadam. So Krishna is saying asakta, attachment opposite is asaktaha. So Krishna is saying tasmad asaktaha satatam karya karma samacharaha. Like how a detached person do his duty. In the same, how a detached person has no duty to do. In the same way, how you can do the duty is by not having attachment to the results of your actions. Asaktaha satatam, always detached. Karyam karma samacharaha. Do your prescribed duty. With a detachment to the results of the activities, do your duty. Don't get yourself, don't stop doing the activities. What we have to really detach is not the activities, the results of the activities. That means we are not doing the activities to keep the results to ourselves. We will be doing every activity with the same conviction and same sincerity and same dedication, but we won't be attaching ourselves to the results. So the real detachment is required in terms of the results, not in terms of the activity. So Krishna is telling to Arjuna that karyam karma samachara. So do your duty without attachment to the results. What happens to that? Asakto hi acharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. What happens when we work without detachment to the results? Because when we say to anybody, do your work, but don't get yourself, don't keep any expectations on the result, then they will immediately say, I don't have any motivation to even do any activity. If somebody is not appreciating me, or if I'm not getting anything or gaining anything out of that, why do I have to even put my energy, time into that? So we don't even have any motivation to perform that duty. But Krishna here is giving us a big motivation. For those of us who are spiritually inclined can catch this point. He's saying, asakto hi acharan karma. You do every activity. Don't renounce any activities. You don't need to give up anything saying that, oh, this is material. You can do everything by detaching ourselves with the results of those activities. Asakta is very important. With detachment, what will we get? Paramapnoti purushaha. Krishna says here the result of it. When you do your actions with detachment to the results, not do so he is not advocating, Krishna is not advocating not doing the actions. He's asking us to do the actions, but asking us to detach to the results. Paramapnoti purushaha. You will attain Supreme Lord. So this is what Krishna is saying. By doing our duty with detachment will make us attain the Supreme. So what is our duty? This is a big question. For me, this is my duty. For them, that is my duty. So does duty depends on the other person, or duty is only with respect to me? Duty, prescribed duties, or according to the Varna and Ashrama, we all belong. All of us, by birth or by nature, belong to a Varna. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Sudra, Vaishya. And all of us are in one or the other ashramas. Brahmachari, Gruhastha, Sannyasa, Vanaprastha. So our duties are according to that, prescribed in the scriptures. How a Gruhastha should work, how a Brahmachari should be, how a Vanaprastha should be, how a Brahmana should act, how a Kshatriya should act, are according to the scriptures. They are not our own mental concoctions or our own speculations saying, this is what I think my duty is. No, this is what scriptures say your duty is. So that is, if we perform that duty without expectation of any results. So when this word comes, then there is no second person there. So let's say I am a mother or I am a daughter. When I'm doing my duty, it does not depend on the other person, whether he treats me, whether he appreciates me, or whether he is being nice to me or not. But do I have a duty towards that person? Then I have to do it in all circumstances, because when I do that without any expectations of the results or without any attachment to results, who am I actually pleasing? The Supreme Lord. And who am I going to attain? Supreme Lord. Paramapnoti purushaha. By just doing our duty without any attachment to the results, is going to give us Krishna. So many of us generally try to escape from our duties out of frustration, helplessness, tiredness. Like many people try to renunciate the activities because they are no longer able to perform that. And they think that that is a real renunciation and they are in a highest order in the ashrama, that is the sannyas ashrama. But no, because that renunciation has come, the basis of that renunciation is the frustration, the helplessness, our laziness to perform our duties. That is not going to please Krishna. The positive attraction towards Krishna is very much needed for the spiritual life. Whether we fail in our duties or whether we get successful in your duties, as long as we try to perform our duties within our strength, like whatever, being sincere, whatever we can do, giving our best 100%, and we perform our prescribed duty, that is going to please Krishna. So that's why Krishna is actually condemning Arjuna's thought of not fighting. He's saying, fight because you're a Kshatriya. If not you, who is going to protect the people? So doing our prescribed duty, because many of us don't want to do our prescribed duty because we are doubtful of the result. So if we are not attached to the results and we give our 100% in doing our prescribed duty, that will make us attain Krishna. So that's what Krishna is saying in this verse. 3.19. 3.20. कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धम् आस्थिता जनकादयः लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्पस्यं कर्तुमर्हसि. So Krishna is telling so far Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama, doing our karmas without any desires. And we also understood what we are going to attain by doing that. Even though it says that Nishkama, do the duty without a desire, even though we are not desiring, Krishna says that when you do your duty without having any expectation to the result, you're going to attain me. He says, Paramapnoti Purushaha. So now Krishna is turning towards 3.20. He's saying, Karmanaiva hi samsiddham astita janakadaya loka sangrahamevapi sampasyam kartumarhasi. Karmanaiva hi samsiddham. By just acting, by performing our activities, samsiddham. Samsiddham means perfection, imperfection. We'll get perfection. Perfection is attained, he says. Samsiddhim. Siddhi is like any kind of an opulence or like that. Samsiddhim. Karmaneva hi samsiddhim asthita janakadayaha. So by Maharaj Janaka and other persons like him, they have attained perfection by just doing their prescribed duties. They did not renunciate everything and go into the forest and did big austerities or penances or read all the scriptures or like have done vratas or chaturmas, and they have just done their prescribed duties. Karmanevai. So he's saying just by doing karmas, samsiddhim, they have attained perfection. Asthita janakadaya. Janaka, there are many more like Janaka. Loka sangraham evapi. Loka sangraha means loka means people. Sangraha means like accumulation or you're gathering. Loka sangraham evapi sampasyam kartumarhasi. And they did their duties sampasyam, very systematically, very diligently. They did. For whose sake they did? Even though they are great devotees, they don't have any obligations to do any duty, because Janaka is, Prabhupada mentions in the purport, Janaka is related to Lord Ramachandra, his mother Sita's father. So they are all great devotees. They are very much devoted to the Lord and they don't have any obligations. But still, they did their duties. That means, even though you are a person who is self-realized, and you knows that you don't really seek anything from the external world, you are not dependent on anybody, still, even though you are a Gnana Yogi, still you act in Karma Yoga so that you can lead, you can set an example to others. Loka Sangraha means setting an example to others, to set an example, to set a proper example to others. Loka Sangraham evapi sampasyam kartum arhasi. So they have done their prescribed duties to just set an example to the people. This Janaka is a king. He is already self-realized. He's deriving happiness, pleasure, satisfaction from inside. But still, he did not sit in one place and say that I have nothing to do with this kingdom. I don't need to rule or anything. He still did his prescribed duties with utmost conviction, to set an example to the people, to set an example to his subjects who he is ruling. So if we all focus here, the external activities is not what that matters actually. What is the intention with which we are doing those activities actually matters. What is our mentality inside? So when we see a devotee, people who are not so much into devotion, if they see a devotee, they think that, oh, he is also sending his kids to school like me. He's also working 9 to 5. He did not give up everything and he took a sannyasashrama or to a forest. He's also doing a 9 to 5 job. He's also driving a car. He also is buying a house. But with what intention that devotee is buying is what really matters. The intentions inside actually matters a lot. So a devotee keeps everything Krishna-centered. He uses everything in service of Krishna. He does all those activities, but he's not attached to those objects apart from Krishna, away from Krishna. He is connecting everything in his life with Krishna, even his family, his relationships, his material wealth, his material objects, everything he sees that as a Krishna's mercy and uses them in Krishna's service. So all these material things have spiritualized. So what intention we have, what mentality we have matters a lot. There may be sannyasis wearing a saffron dress, putting nice tilak, having externally they are like, when we look at them, we may say that, oh, they are 100% perfect devotee. But we don't know what's going on internally. And Krishna already mentions that before, like he's a pretender. Such pretender, he talks about the pretender. So internal mentality matters a lot. And all these great devotees, they act to set an example for the others. So we should not be interpreting otherwise their actions, because their intentions we don't know, their mentality we don't know. So we need to see. So all of us also can engage in any of these things. We don't need to really, as I said earlier, stop anything, but we need to learn how to connect everything to Krishna. So the focus more is on towards connecting everything to Krishna, rather than renouncing everything. Because most of the people, we think that these relationships are binding me, these relationships are not making me, are not letting me do my devotional practice, all these things, all my responsibilities are not making me do my devotion. And we think that all these things are obstacles on my devotion. But here what we need to learn is how we can connect all these things to Krishna and then progress in our devotional service. Renouncing more than renouncing the things, we need to learn how to connect everything to Krishna. That that connection that we are making with Krishna automatically makes us renounce everything. So we need to learn that. So we need to follow the examples of the great devotees that were mentioned. So Krishna is giving an example of Janaka to Arjuna, saying that he is a great devotee, but still he performed his prescribed duty. You also should perform your prescribed duty of fighting the war to protect the people who are dependent. If you don't do that, the kingdom will go into the hands of the people who are not righteous and they may suffer more. Then you fail as a Kshatriya. So doing our prescribed duty itself becomes karma, which does not give us the any effects when we are not attached to the results. Not doing our karma, not doing our prescribed duty brings us sin. So 3.21. Yad yad acharati sreshtas tat tad evetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. Why? You are a Sreshta, Arjuna. People look upon you. People look at you. Think that, what did Arjuna do? I'm going to follow that. I'm going to take him as an example. What is my father doing? What is my mother doing? Are they watching the TV and asking me to study? Are they not chanting and asking me to chant? Are they gossiping and asking me not to gossip? So by actions matter a lot than words. That's what Krishna is telling here. All these great leaders, all the people who are in a leader position, parents, teachers, kings, all of them, they have a great responsibility because their actions matter to others more than to them. People are looking at them. People are trying to follow them. So we have so much responsibility when we are performing our actions. So Krishna is saying, yad yad acharati sreshta. Whatever the sreshtas, whatever the best people, influential people, leaders, whatever they acharati, practice, tat tad evetaro janaha. Normal people, they just follow them. Tat tad evetaro janaha. People generally follow. Whatever the father does, son follows. Whatever the mother does, kids will follow. So if we say something and do something, kids will not follow that. If we are also saying and doing, if we are walking our words, if we are living our words, then kids will automatically practice. So Krishna is saying, Sayat pramanam kurute, standard, pramanam, that becomes a pramanam, that becomes a standard. Whatever the people who are leaders act, that becomes like a standard, that becomes a pramanam. So he says, Sayat pramanam kurute, lokas tad anuvartate. So general people, anuvartate, they just follow you. Anu means come along with you. So Krishna here is explaining how we should not become self-obsessed. Sometimes we think that, oh, this is good for my thing. This is why I will act in whatever way I want, because this is good for my spiritual progress or anything. When we are acting, if we are in an influential position, if we are a leader, if we are a father, if we are a parent, we need to act in a way which becomes an exemplary to the others. Like all, so Mataji, I am not a leader, I am not any temple president, I am not anybody. All of us might be a parent, might be a big brother, might be a sister. So all of us may be influencing one or two people. So we all should be acting in a way that people can take us as an example and set us as a standard for a behavior. And where do we derive our standards from? From the scriptures, from the acharyas, from the leaders. We won't set our own standard. We won't follow our own way. We always follow the parampara. We always follow Guru, Krishna, and all those things. And we will act in a way that we are setting an example to others. So exemplary behavior, we have an intention to set an exemplary behavior when we are in an influential position. And what is the guideline for us is the scriptures. So we won't say that, I think this is what is should be followed, and I will start my own. So Krishna says, whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standard he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So actions matter a lot. Then we think that, okay, my words matter a lot. The instructions that I am giving matter a lot. When we are living in a house, and then our actions speak more than our words. So sometimes we don't need to say anything. How we are behaving with our parents becomes an example for our kids to behave with us when we grow. How we are receiving the devotees, how we are serving our Guru, how we are keeping Krishna consciousness as our priority, how we are able to balance our life, how happily we are practicing Krishna consciousness. If we are always tensed, anxious, screaming, shouting, and making kids as an obstacle for in our Krishna consciousness and giving them a miserable experiences day in and day out for us to become a great devotee. Like, I have to chant my round, so I'm going to shout and scream at you. You have to sit in one corner. So for them, Krishna consciousness is no longer a happy business. It becomes something which their parents scold them. So they will hate it. So how we practice our Krishna consciousness, how happy we are practicing Krishna consciousness is framing a mindset for our kids to take up Krishna consciousness or not. We think that, no, I send my kids to classes. I take them every day to temple. I tell them how should be. How I will also teach them how other kids are becoming a great devotees, or how other kids are progressing. That will have an impact. No, how we are acting in Krishna consciousness, how we are happy in Krishna consciousness, how as a family we are looking towards Krishna consciousness matters a lot for those who are following us to frame an opinion about it. So instead of being self-obsessed, like only thinking that if we are a father or a mother, no, I don't care. I don't care how my kids will grow up. I am not going to waste my life for them. I'm going to chant, and I will not care for them. I will not until I finish my rounds, until I read, until I do my Krishna conscious services. I'm not going to attend them. So that will not set a good example. What will set a good example is how my father has been a good father. Being a devotee sets an example. So we are shifting our focus from ourselves to the process that is making us. The Krishna consciousness, which is making us, how it is transforming us is shown in our actions to our kids. So this is very, very important. Bhagavad Gita, when we say we know Bhagavad Gita lives with us in our actions. not in the lectures we are giving, not in the words we are speaking, not in the slokas that we are reciting. So actions matters to others more than what we really think, and actions speak louder than the words. So we need to remember that. And when we are in a responsible position, or when we are a Shrestha, so Krishna is saying, Yad yad acharati Shrestha, tat tat evetaro janaha, sayat pramanam kurute, lokastat anuvartate. 3.22. Name patasti kartavyam, trishu lokeshu kinchanam, nana vaptam avaptavyam, vartayeva cha karmani. So Krishna is actually indirectly establishing his supremacy here. See, Krishna still did not come into Bhakti Yoga. He is speaking only about Karma Yoga. So Krishna will not, we won't be seeing Mam word a lot, saying that how he says like, I am the Supreme and all. So here, Krishna is saying, Name Parthasti, Nasti Kartavyam. Partha, there is no Kartavyam, there is no responsibility, there is no prescribed duty for me. Not just in this world. Trishu lokeshu kinchana. Even in these 3 planetary systems, I don't have any duty to perform. Nana vaptam avaptavyam. I don't need anything, or I don't need to obtain anything or gain anything. So he's saying nana, nothing, anavaptam, wanted. Avaptam, to be gained. I don't want anything, or I have to gain anything. See, if you all see these words, these are very important, because all our actions are based on this. I want this thing, so I do this action. I have to gain this thing, though I do this. So Krishna's actions are not like this. So Krishna still did not come to the 4th chapter where he says Janma Karma Chame Divyam. He's still speaking. He's slowly elevating the consciousness of Arjuna, slowly elevating consciousness of all of us. So he's elevating. He's saying that I don't have any prescribed duty to hear. So this statement here itself separates Krishna from us, that Jiva and Krishna are not at the same level. Because there are some people who don't know that, think that, oh, Krishna also has performed, he also performed activities like a householder. He also did this, he also went to the school. So when I become a god, I will also become Krishna. People think like that. Krishna is saying very clearly for those, to make those people understand that he does not have anything to do. Nana vaptam avaptavyam. I don't desire anything. I don't gain anything. Varta eva cha karmani. Still I am engaged in karmani. Still I act in all, I perform all activities. So we generally what we do, the motivation to cook the dinner or lunch will be very less when we are not eating. So I went once to a person's house, and then we were all there. So like they are little in relation, they are little older than me. So I have a responsibility towards them. So I have to. So, but I was like just for a few minutes. They said, I don't feel hungry today, so I don't really need anything for dinner. So indirectly it is like I don't eat, so I don't cook. So that is the mentality that we have. I don't gain anything, so I don't need to do this activity. I don't have anything, I don't have to impress these people, so I don't need to act. Here Krishna is saying, I don't want anything, I don't attain anything, but still I do all activities. Vartayeva cha karmani. Why does Krishna do all the activities when he has nothing to do? So people may have a doubt, why Krishna is not having any prescribed duty. So Prabhupada mentions this verse from the Vedic literatures in purport. Tamishwaranam paramam maheshwaram, tam devatanam paramam cha daivatam, patim patinam paramam parastad, vidhama devam bhuvanesham idyam, natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, natas samaschabhyadikascha drishyate, parasya sektir vividaiva shruyate, Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. So he's saying the Supreme Lord is the controller of all other controls. Tamishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram. He is the Ishwara to the Ishwaras. And then Tam Devatanam Paramam Cha Daivatam. He is the Supreme Devata among the Devatas. Patim Patinam Paramam Parastad. Pati, husband, who is take care of the things. He is the Paramam Parastad. He is the Supreme. Vidamadevam Bhuvaneshamijam Bhuvaneshu. He is the Lord of all the places. Bhuvaneshamijam Bhuvanesha. And then he's saying, Natasya Karyam Karanam Cha Vidyate. This particular person has no prescribed duty. Natat samascha vidyacha drishyase. There is no higher authority who can dictate him to do anything, or there is no higher authority which he has to please. He is supreme. Parasya Sektir Vividhaiva Sruyate. Parasya Sektir, absolute truth. Then how the things are happening in this world? When he is not doing anything, when Krishna is not doing anything, how this world is running perfectly, how the things happen so nicely, as if somebody is monitoring everything day to day behind this. Because Vividhaiva Sruyate, he has different energies which makes it happen. And also what? He is Satya Sankalpa. As soon as he desires, things will happen. Swabhavika Gnana Bala Kriyacha. As soon as he thinks, things will happen. So that is the position of Krishna. So that's why he does not have any prescribed duty to do. He is the supreme. He does not gain anything by doing a duty, but still he performs the duty. So Arjuna should not be having any excuse to not his duty. Like that, we all have no excuse to say, no excuse to renunciate our prescribed duties. Yadihai, we will go to 3.23. Yadihai aham na varteyam jatu karmanya atandritaha mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvasaha. So Krishna is telling, what happens if I don't do the prescribed duty perfectly? If I don't engage myself in prescribed duty? Krishna is telling what will happen also. Yadihai aham na varteyam. If I am not engaged, varteyam, engaged. Yadihi aham na varteyam. If I am not engaged, jatu karmani atandritaha. Jatu karmani atandrita. If I am not engaged in the karmas with atandritaha, with great attention. Atandritaha means with great care and with great attention. So Krishna is not, because he is not, if somebody says that you are not going to get anything out of this, but you have to do this duty, 50% of our motivation is gone in doing that duty sincerely. We will do somehow or the other. Like, anyway, this, I am not going to get anything out of this. I'm not going to eat this. What happens if little bit salt is more or chili is more? I'll just get this done and do it. What kind of ingredients I put, it really doesn't matter because I am not eating. So that will be generally our inclination towards that karma, which is not giving us anything. But here Krishna, who does not gain, who does not desire anything, who is the Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of the Lords, is doing his karmas with atandritaha, with great attention and great care, sincerely, giving his 100%. Mama vartamanu vartante. People follow me. Manushya Partha Sarvasaha. All these living entities will also act in the way I acted. If I am not attentive to the jobs that I am doing, to the karmas I am not doing, this will lead to disruption. We will say that in the next verse, how it leads to disruption. So Krishna performs his activities attentively. Where do we see this? We see this in Bhagavatam 10th canto, when Narad Muni goes around to see how Krishna is maintaining 16,108 wives. Krishna will be doing one duty in each and every house, and Narad Muni gets surprised. So, but in Vrindavan, Krishna is different. In Dwaraka and Mathura, Krishna is different. Vrindavan is like pure love. He sets an example of pure love. In Mathura and Dwaraka, he has a responsibility. He is a husband, he is a king, he acts differently, so set an example there. So Krishna acts exemplary because people will follow Krishna, so he has that responsibility. So he attends to his actions with great care and attention. So Mataji, this is only for Krishna. This is only for leader. We have already discussed this point, how every one of us are a leader in our own way, and how we set an example, and how and what should be our intentions when we are performing the karmas. We should be doing them with great attention and care. So there is also one more thing. When we try to set an example to others, we talk about us a lot. Like, we will say that, do you know how I practice this? How I am such a great person that I have implemented this? And we try to use and set that as an example to put others down, saying that, what, I am able to practice. You are not able to practice because you are very weak. So that won't inspire others. But if we can say how the instructions of Gita has motivated, has transformed, how chanting has given us that strength to act in the way what Gita is saying, so the glory goes towards Gita. The glory goes towards Krishna consciousness. Generally, people talk about how great we are, but they don't talk about how Krishna consciousness has transformed us to be what we are. And actually, all the glory, all the credit goes to Krishna consciousness. So we, acting in a way that we set an example, should not be for our own pride and for our own glory, but to inspire others to become Krishna consciousness. So that should be our motive. Then we are fully, even in that setting an example also, we are very careful that Maya does not attack us, because when people start taking us as an example, they come and giving appreciation to us, slowly the pride creeps in. So when the pride comes, fall comes. So whenever this appreciation, this pride, this recognition, people are telling that they are taking on as an examples, immediately the glory should be turned towards the principles that we follow, teachings that we follow. What is that is making us to be what we are, that others are taking us as an example. It is not my credit. It is those instructions credit, that Guru Krupa, Krishna Krupa is making me what I am. And you also can get that. I am not anything, somebody special. You also can get that if you follow that. And you are equally qualified for that. So we need to be setting an example to inspire people to take up Krishna consciousness, to take up instructions of Krishna. 3.24. Krishna says, Utsideyur ime loka Nakuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyam imah prajaha. So Krishna is saying, what happens if a leader does not act in a way according to the scriptures? If a father, if a mother, if a brother, if somebody who is having a responsible position, position comes with a great responsibility. All of us are attracted to the position, the fame and name it gives, but it's a big responsibility. Utsedeyur ime loke, it will disturb all the worlds. If I don't do my activities with atindriya, with great care and attention, if I don't do karmas, nakuryam karma ched aham, if I don't perform my duties, my prescribed, my karma, he does not have any prescribed duty, but still he performs with great care and attention. And Krishna is telling what happens when a leader, when an influential person does not do. Sankarasya cha kartasyam. So Varna Sankara happens. Again, Varna Sankara does not mean that kids born to different Varnas. Varna Sankara actually means, because Varna Sankara is one of the reasons which Arjuna gives in the beginning, saying, I'm not going to kill all these people. If I kill all these people, I will be giving the unwanted progeny will increase. So unwanted progeny does not mean that the progeny which were left, or which were those who are homeless or like that. It actually means decline in the consciousness of the generations to come. So as we all know, the consciousness of the kid depends on the parents' consciousness at the time of conception and all. So when people are not performing their duties, and when they are declining in their consciousness, automatically the generations that they are going to cause later are going to have that kind of a declined consciousness. So all of us always wonder, when we look at, always compare with the previous generations and say, oh, world was not that worse in my childhood. Now it has become so worse. People are killing each other for small material things, for simple things. Why they are growing into this kind of a consciousness? We wonder, like, where it is. We don't know where to find the fault, how to fix this. We have to fix this at the level of conception there itself. Like, so here Krishna is telling, Arjuna was thinking, if I protect all of them from not dying, then I will not be leading to an unwanted progeny. And Krishna is telling here, if the leaders, if the people who are in influential positions do not do their prescribed duties with great attention and care, they are going to create unwanted progeny. Upahanyam imah praja. In this way, upahanyam means would destroy. Hanyam means destroy. All these people will be destroyed. So Kshatriya, Arjuna is a Kshatriya. He is an example of, he has to be an example for bravery, chivalry, protection. Instead of that, Arjuna is saying, he's a Gruhastha also. And instead of that, Arjuna is saying he will beg and live. He will act as a Brahmana or he will act as a sannyasi. So he's not setting a right example for a Kshatriya and acting in a righteous way by taking his responsibility and protecting these people and performing his duty. So Krishna is actually pointing out that if we don't act responsibly, then we will be responsible for the unwanted progeny. So Krishna is mentioning that. And there is one more discussion in this, which Prabhupada has says, because some people may be thinking Krishna, does Krishna acted in a way which is exemplary? So that comes here. Therefore, whenever there is a general regard of regulative principles, the Lord himself descends and corrects the society. We should, however, note carefully that although we have to follow in the footsteps of the Lord, we still have to remember that we cannot imitate him. Following and imitating are not at the same level. We have to follow the instructions of the Lord, but not imitate Lord. People try to imitate the Lord, saying that imitate the Lord. We cannot imitate the Lord by lifting Govardhan hill as the Lord did in his childhood. It is impossible for any human being. We have to follow his instructions, but we may not imitate him at any time. So why we should not be imitating? Because we are not Ishwaras. We should always consider the position of the Ishwaras, or those who can actually control the movements of the sun and moon, as superior. We are also Ishwaras, but we are mini Ishwaras. But Krishna is Paramishwara. Without such power, one cannot imitate the Ishwaras who are super powerful. Lord Shiva drank poison to the extent of swallowing an ocean. But if any common man tries to drink even a fragment of such poison, he will be killed. So when we should not be imitating Lord's activities. We should be following his instructions, and we should be actually following his instructions, and following is different from the imitating. And in a similar way, when we see great devotees, we don't know their circumstances. We don't know how much support they have, how much consciousness they have, what kind of a mindset they have, how progressive they are. So we should not be imitating them also. We should be always getting inspiration from them, taking suggestions from them, and then applying it to our Krishna consciousness life. Generally, I see in a small congregations or in a temples or anything, even among the wife and husband, they generally compare themselves with the devotees and say that, that devotee has progressed so much. Why can't you act like that? All of us are different individuals. All of us have different strength. All of us have different weaknesses. All of us have different circumstances. What we need to take is, we need to get inspired for them. We need to go and talk to them and ask how they are motivated, even in opposing situations, to perform Krishna consciousness, how they are doing, how they are managing. And then we try to get inspiration, and we need to apply that. We can't just copy that, because we may be having our own strength. Maybe one Mataji may be very good at singing, one Prabhu may be good at giving a lecture. So we cannot say that I will also give lecture, or I sing very bad, let's say, and then I cannot say that Mataji is progressing so fast by singing the bhajan, so I will also go and sing. So this kind of imitation should not be there. We need to get inspired from them. and learn and ask, associate with them and see how they are acting. But the problem is when we are associating, when we are seeing people progressing, the first thing we see is faults in them. And then we start finding faults and attribute those faults, saying that, oh, even though they are great, they have these faults. That will not help us progress in our devotional service. We need to learn from each and every devotee that we are meeting. There will be one lesson that we can get inspired. There will be one thing that we have that we can learn. And most important thing, we need to be sincere. Am I giving my 100%? So we need to be sincere and we need to draw inspiration from the exemplary devotees. And at the same time, we have to act in an exemplary way that people get inspiration from us and take up Krishna consciousness. It is not about us. It is about the instructions of Krishna which has transformed us. Prabhupada always says devotees are first class, first in everything. So we need to act in a way, in that way. Sometimes our ego, our own shortcomings come on our path, and they does not let us act in a way that we are exemplary. At that time, we have to remember that we are powerful from then mind, and use our intelligence, which is enriched by spirituality and instructions from Bhagavad Gita, and put aside our mind for a minute. And even though we like or not, we should be acting in a way Krishna and Guru wants us to act. In that way, we are setting an example to others, and we are also helping us to transform ourselves. So I will conclude here with this instruction, which speaks how Krishna says that what is the responsibility of a leader, how he has to act, and then how common people follow great people, and how great people have to set an example by their actions. I open to the devotees for any corrections, comment, questions, or anything.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Very beautifully, you have explained. I'm pretty sure that our audience are mesmerized because you put it in a very simpler, like understandable portions where they can understand about Krishna. And a lot of time we struggle with that how we should behave, so you put it very nicely that devotees have to be first class in all aspects. We will open the floor for question and answer. If any Prabhujis and Matajis have question, please raise your hand. Anybody has any question for Mataji, please raise your hand and we'll take you one by one. It was so nectarian, Mataji, we are still relishing it. So I'm pretty sure that people are taking their own time coming out of it, but it was really, you felt like the vibes from Vrindavan or Mayapur when you attend class, that it would be never ending. So very, very beautifully you have, I think everybody has been absorbing whatever you said just a few minutes ago, to be first class devotees, to give our best, to give our 100%. So anybody has any question, you can raise your hands. Last call for questions. Hare Krishna, everyone. At this point, Mataji, we have no question.
Hari Bol.
Yeah, because as I said, when the speaker explains it so well, you did it in a bite size. Everybody really, I think the understanding part is like we are still contemplating, still meditating on what you just said. Because a lot of time devotees, we just want to be perfectionist, or we want to be idealistic in a certain way, and it does not match the rest of the society. But then, as you said, that Prabhupada said you had to be first class devotee. So Ila Mataji has a question. Ila Mataji, let me unmute you. Ila Mataji, give me 1 second. Yeah, okay. Mataji, you are unmuted. Please ask your question.
Danvan pranam to you, Mataji, and your class was really, really great. I think at some points I did have few questions for you, but I think as I listened more into it, you answered everyone, all those questions that I had. So I don't think I have any. It really was very very I mean, you explained it so good. I can't say any more than that.
Thank you,
And
Mataji. Thank
yeah,
you.
it answered a lot of my personal questions as a parent, and I think it will help me a lot. It is hard, however, to see, for the moment that you're in the class, you feel like you've absorbed so much Krishna conscious, purity, just everything related to advancing in Krishna conscious. But the thing is that as soon as we put the phone down, we're off the Zoom, we go back to real life. And the thing is that in real life, you feel like, when am I going to get there? When am I going to be so pure? When am I going to be so I mean, Krishna is going to love me for serving him the proper way, or it's just going to take lifetime, it feels like. I don't know. Maybe you can elaborate and tell us, all of us.
We need to we don't need to worry about it as long as we are engaged in the service and chanting, because it takes its own course and we are dependent on Krishna. We should have that faith. Initially, our faith is like a small plant, like a creeper. It is very tender. So if we get devotional service, progress in bhakti leads a lot of patience and tolerance. So if it is a small creeper and every day we are going there and we are seeing that, oh, it's not growing like a big tree, so there is no point in watering to it or taking care of it, then it will never grow to a big tree. Your question just, I don't know, it was just a coincidence. When I was getting ready for this session, the same thought I got. Devotional service requires a lot of patience. And as long as we are chanting, we are associating with devotees, and we are engaging ourselves in Krishna's service, we may fail. These anarthas may come up, these 6 enemies that we have, they may show up. As long as we get back to that, we fall, we get up, we fall, we get up. One day we will run. So we need to have that faith. And if we give up on the first fall or a second fall, thinking that I'm not going to get up and walk, that means our faith on Krishna is not strong. And Krishna is saying that I am there for you. I'm going to take you. When we surrender to him, when we render service to him, he is there to take care of us, including our devotional service. He will make us remind, he will help us. We need to just have that sincere desire always to serve him, always keeping him as our priority. That sincerity is something which we cannot show externally. That is something internally we have it.
Yes,
So if we have that inside of us, we will be there one day.
Okay.
So,
all right. Thank you so much for explaining that. You gave me that faith. And yes, I do appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Next question we have Amit Prabhu. Amit Prabhu, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for the wonderful class. Overall class was very good and you explained it very well. The two cents from my side is that one is that differentiate between process and renunciation. When you said that if we follow the process, we should not have to do the renunciation, it will automatically come to us. So that is the one key point overall lecture, that if we follow the correct process for the following the correct path of Krishna consciousness, the renunciation will automatically come. And second thing which I like means it generally relate with our day-to-day life also, that comparison between the devotees. That is the thing which which should not happen, but it will, means unknowingly or knowingly, it come to in our mind that, oh, that person is doing that thing, so I have to do. Means we will try to follow that path instead of the path which Srila Prabhupada told us. So that is the 2 key points or 2 cents from my side from the today's class. Our overall lecture was very good, very wonderful, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your question and the Anumodan. Anybody else has any question? Anybody else has any question, last minute questions that they want to ask Mataji? Mataji, we sincerely request you to keep coming in Parsati Foundation. Enlighten us, and please bless all the devotees that were present in this class, that they get, the loving devotional service of Guru and Gauranga.
I pray to the Supreme Lord to shower his causeless mercy on all of us and increase our nishta, faith on Guru and Krishna, and serve him and make us all progress in devotional service. And we can give us intelligence to keep Krishna as our priority. And thank you. I don't know if I exceeded your time limit. Please forgive me for that, Mataji.
That's fine, Mataji. I think the class was so, there was so much substance in the class. It just keep recalling me the bhajan that, just like Ila Mataji was asking that, when will I get the mercy from the Guru and Gauranga, right? Kabe hame buji ve jugal pariti, right? That bhajan by, I guess this is Narottam Das Thakur. That when will I get the causeless mercy of Krishna? So we have been very blessed today. We got the causeless mercy from Krishna by hearing from your mouth about the glories of Krishna. So Vanmali Mataji, thank you so much. Keep coming. We would love to hear from you time and again. And it has been such a, I know for some part of the country it is very late night now, but still everybody is here. So I'm pretty sure that they have relished the katha. They have absorbed the nuggets that you have given them, the jewels that you imparted to them about Krishna Bhakti. So thank you so much. We'll wind up the class. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Vancha
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you all so much, devotees.
Her Grace Vanmali Manjari Devi Dasi Mataji ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji.